Welcome to this episode of the Legal Paige podcast. Today's episode, I'm talking about the Legal Paige and what sets our contracts apart from other online contract shops that you can find. I am so proud of what myself and my legal team have been able to create through all of the products that we have in the Legal Paige shop. We have honestly helped countless business owners get legally legit. And I really pride myself on the amazing, comprehensive, really helpful contracts that we have built. It is the passion that really motivates me every single day with what I do and create for the Legal Paige. We literally, at this point now, have a contract for everyone. We have over 300 products in our shop, if you can believe it. We have thought of so much, and it's crazy because there's still so many things that we can add into the shop. I would say at least once a week, if not bi-weekly, we have people saying, hey, you don't have this exact contract in your shop. Would you be interested in creating this template contract? So there is more to come as always, but for what we have in the shop right now, as I'm recording this podcast episode, I really wanted to dive into what sets the Legal Paige template contracts apart. And I think that this will be really interesting for you. And if you're thinking about buying contract templates, it'll just be a very informational episode for you into why a contract template is important and then why buying one from TLP may be better suited for you and your business. So let's get into this. You're listening to the Legal Paige podcast, where we chat about life and business with a legal twist. I'm Paige, attorney and photographer helping online businesses and creatives tackle their business dreams without breaking out in hives. No more legal mumbo jumbo. This podcast features simple, bite-sized advice that'll have you legally legit in no time. Are you ready? Let's get started. As a reminder, before we get into this episode, I am legally obligated to give my disclaimer. So I am an attorney, but I am not your attorney. All legal information I talk about on this episode is intended for the masses and a large variety of different businesses. I am only your attorney when you hire me and we sign an engagement letter for me to work specifically on your legal issues. Please feel free to seek out another attorney in your hometown if you need specific legal advice or contact me for more information. Alrighty, here's the episode, friends. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in today. As you know, we're talking all about what sets the Legal Paige apart from other online contract shops. This is going to be quite an interesting episode. I thought it would be a good follow-up episode to last week's podcast all about template contracts versus custom contracts. And then I wanted to dive in more in this episode into why TLP template contracts, because I need to go over with you how we create each template contract, what my background is, and honestly, how we stay on tap with what's going on in the industry. And then all of our contracts include every future update that we would ever do, how often we update our contracts in the shop, and then how we really provide additional education to our TLP customers when they purchase contracts and any type of template products from thelegalpaige.com. So first, how are TLP's template contracts different? I think the biggest thing is that we have a legal team. It's myself and two other individuals that are highly dedicated to not only providing you a strong foundation for your business, but also really understand what you in that specific business, that you are creating do. So for photography, for example, that's where we started out in the Legal Paige shop because I was a photographer. I still am a photographer. I'm just kind of more of a hobbyist, passion photographer now. But I had a photography business for 8 years. And then actually our other attorney on our team is also a photographer, if you can believe it. So we have this really unique background of being able to create photography contracts. And then, of course, we've been in the wedding and event industry for almost a decade. And so her and I can really look at things from an industry perspective as we're creating TLP contracts. So we know what business owners in this world face on a day-to-day basis. And I think that our background heavily impacts how we create template contracts. In that same vein, we also have really good connections in the industry as well. And that was something when I was back in 2018 creating the Legal Paige, I was all about networking during that season of time before I officially launched our online platform. And I wanted to find the cream of the crop in the wedding planning industry, people to review my contracts in the floral industry. And I was really trying to network my little fanny off so that I could create a template contract, like the first draft myself, but then also be able to have questions in my mind of, I need to ask a florist, what is like most of the industry standards approach on X situation, like payments, or what happens with scope creep, or what happens in the event that the florals that this particular client of yours chose are not available anymore, or what happens if wholesale pricing goes up. And having a lot of those questions answered by industry professionals is something that I truly, truly think sets TLP template contracts apart from others online, is they may just draft them and then put them up in their online shop without having people review them. And then also, again, just back to, we are really, really passionate about the online space and helping small business owners. And now I've been in the trenches of online course building and mentorship. I've ran masterminds before. I've done online group coaching. I've done one-on-one coaching. And so all of those contracts as well come from a place of knowledge and expertise. And then I also still reach out to people and industry experts within that niche who can review and critique them for us. So we make sure that at least 2 to 3 industry professionals look over contracts before they go live to the public in our shop. So I haven't seen lots of contract shops do this online, and I honestly think it's one of the most important things. So just be sure, if you're not buying a TLP contract, just be sure you're buying another contract from another reputable attorney. Make sure they actually have a law license in place, and then make sure that they are top-notch from an industry perspective. Because lawyers, obviously we are trained, and especially contract lawyers, we are trained to draft contracts. Like that is our expertise. And having an expertise come from an outside third-party source, taking kind of a bird's eye view of what the contract template looks like, how clients are going to interact from that contract template, issues that have popped up with them booking clients, pointing out certain things that have occurred maybe in the industry the past year or the past season, where they're like, hey, this has popped up quite a bit in my photography community or my region, and that may be something we want to add or have an option to add into a contract template. So having that type of back and forth with industry professionals is an invaluable and honestly priceless addition to TLP template contracts that I just wanted to point out. So make sure that wherever you're getting your template contract from, that they do indeed have third-party eyes on it that aren't attorneys. Because while it's good that like multiple attorneys are, looking things over and paralegals are there to help as well, you want someone in your boat, in your, side, on your side, that fully understands what that industry does from not only the business owner's perspective, like I said, but the client's perspective as well, who's going to receive this template contract from the service provider. And in that vein, I just wanted to point out a few of the amazing business owners that we have actually collaborated with and made very custom contracts for their audiences. If you are someone who is like, I don't know, if there's some contract that I don't have in my template contract shop, or if there is one that I have in my template contract shop, and you have an audience that you can, work with and pitch these contracts to, I would love for us to talk and collaborate together, because honestly, it can only make TLP template contracts better. So these people have had eyes on our contracts. They also know it like the back of their hand. And so it's really awesome because once that collaboration and networking partnership begins, we continually update and contact one another. I currently have 2 emails in my inbox right now from some of these people that I'm going to list here saying, hey, this happened. I don't think it's covered in the contract. Can we add it? And I'm going to talk about future updates for you guys in a little bit, but that's a lot of times where these updates come about is from our collaborators. So I just wanted to send a special shout out to Maddie May from Adventure Instead. We've created all of our kind of elopement, high-risk adventure photography contracts with Maddie. And then we've also had lots of other critiques from other adventure photographers as well. So we kind of have a full suite of template contracts for, high-risk adventure photographers. And that has been a really cool collaboration. And I just extend an ode to Maddie here for all of her help creating these and really spending hours and hours and hours of time looking them over. Hope Taylor has also been a photographer that we've done a lot of things with surrounding senior photography and model releases and styled shoots. And she has just been an invaluable resource for us in that specific industry. We've also had a couple florists. Tyler Spire has helped us. He is an extraordinary florist and has really critiqued our floral contracts. Our Brandon Media contract was actually reviewed and critiqued by a confidential source from the Bachelor Bachelorette franchise, who now manages sometimes some of the past cast members' social media and brands. So they have really helped us with a lot of influencer contracts, a lot of brand media and management contracts, and a lot of brand and commercial photography contracts as well. So that's been a cool collaboration with the Legal Paige. We've also had Jade Myers of Fashion Without Trashion help us with our consignment contract. Helen Peterson and Annie McCarty has helped us with our VA contracts. And honestly, there's tons more. I just wanted to shout out a few people. I could really go on and on about who has reviewed our contracts. I know that everyone has put tons of time. We've had like 3 bookkeepers look at the bookkeeper contract. I actually just created that one. A Pinterest manager contract has come out that has been reviewed by 3 different Pinterest managers as well. So there's a lot of awesome collaborations happening here at the TLP shop. Now, also setting apart our contracts, besides the collaborations, like I said, kind of in tandem with that is we update our contracts. And what that means is, yes, if you've purchased a Legal Paige contract, you get all the future updates. That's included in the pricing. It was really, really important for me to do this from the get-go. We've always had this policy in place because you've heard me talk about this on podcast episodes before. I truly believe contracts are living documents and they are meant to be negotiated and changed and adapted to over time. I don't just want a stagnant contract in place for you to use forever and ever and ever that you can never change or modify, because that's just not reality. And things are going to pop up constantly with like client issues or just with world issues and regional issues. And I always like to adapt our contracts to those changes. So you never need to repurchase a contract again from the Legal Paige. We send you complimentary all of these free updates. And then we also inform you of what they are. And we don't actually have like a set time period that updates come out. I've had that question pop up before. We just do them pretty frequently because we keep ourselves on top with what's going on in each and every kind of online industry and service-based industry. We also, of course, look at the news and what's going on and how to prepare for things that could potentially be coming. Also, legal changes. We have access to legal research platforms that nobody else has access to because we're attorneys. So Westlaw and Lexis, we have access to those. And so we're constantly seeing what new case law is coming in and making sure that if case law is happening in a certain state or a region that could be precedent and could change things regarding a certain clause in a contract, we make sure to update those. Recently, we've had a lot of tax law updates happening from like 1099 perspectives. And so a lot of our contracts, in the virtual assistant world and in, an independent contractor contract. All of those have been updated accordingly because of tax law changes. And so all of that and all of our expertise goes into updating our contracts. So like I said, we email those updates right to you. So if you've bought the specific contract, there's no need to go to our website. The update will come right to your inbox, or you can always log into your account. We have a login option right at the top bar of our website. So you can always download the most recent update. It is the for one that you download from, we are on a Shopify platform. So when you log into your Shopify account through the legalpaige.com, whatever is downloaded or available to download for you regarding the purchases you've made, that is the most recent one. We sometimes put notes on the side of our contracts informing you of the update, but of course, we always have an email that gets sent out as well. Or you can always just email shop@thelegalpaige.com. And we have an employee dedicated to helping people with any shop-related issues, and they know every update that me and my legal team have made, and so they can inform you of those as well. So it's just a simple email. If you need help figuring out what the updates are, my team can definitely make sure that you get those. Hey, Legal Pagers, are you listening to this episode and wondering to yourself, yes, I need a template contract, and yes, I want on the inside of all of the upcoming things and sales and promotions and better deals happening at thelegalpaige.com. Well, I have the ticket just for you. I would love for you to get legally legit and become a TLP insider. As a TLP insider, you'll get exclusive access to all of our top-notch resources that the TLP has to offer. And also, of course, you will be the first one to know about our sales and promotions, which may or may not be coming up here shortly. So if you go to thelegalpaige.com/TLP insider, you can sign up to become an insider today and get first access to all sales and promotions. So again, that's thelegalpaige, PAIGE.com/TLP insider, all lowercase. The next thing I wanted to touch on is just how we pride ourselves too in how much educational value we give away in addition to just template contracts. So to be very frank here, obviously the ROI from the Legal Paige that's coming in is from our contracts that we sell online. And then of course we have online courses and we have additional like short form legal documents that you can purchase as well. But one of the main reasons I created the Legal Paige was to have a legal educational resource out there for people that was free and complimentary, that gave really good information to people without having to go down rabbit holes in Google or ask people that weren't attorneys and that had no idea what they were talking about. There was a lot of misinformation out there. And when I started a blog. I didn't have a template contract shop on thelegalpaige.com. It was primarily a free blog. So it was a legal blog resource that people could come and educate themselves on as small business owners. And I love that we put out new blog content every single week. We have a lot of blog content also related hand in hand to our template contracts. So there's a lot of additional blogs surrounding how to upload template contracts into your CRM system, how to send template contracts to your clients, just how-tos on how like additional educational value surrounding our template contracts. We are also at lots of conferences throughout the year. We're attending, I'm speaking at them, and I'm really pouring my heart and soul into what TLP is. And also I get a lot out of those conferences as well. And I come back to the drawing board as a lawyer, and I'm able to implement things into our contracts that I learned just by sitting at a round table with other people in the industry. So that is a huge thing that I do as well, education-wise. And then I'm also on podcasts. Obviously, I have my podcast. I'm talking on it right now, and you're listening to it. So I host my own podcast, but I am a guest on other other podcasts all the time. I think it's a chance for me to have open conversations with other business owners in various industries, the online industry and the in-person service industry, and answer hot legal questions that people have. It's a non-negotiable for me that I'm a guest on multiple podcasts each quarter. My team at least tries to set up 3 to 5 different guest episodes for me because I want to give that free education to people. And I think it's really, really important. And to also have it from a different perspective of that specific industry leader asking me questions that they have from their community regarding legal issues and contract issues that pop up. And then we also finally have a thriving Facebook community. You can check out the Legal Paige community on Facebook. Just type it into the search bar. And that is honestly the best next step after you purchase a template contract, because we not only update people frequently in the Legal Paige community on Facebook what contract updates are coming out. We ask lots of questions to past TLP contract template purchasers about, hey, if we did this, would this be beneficial to you? And then people are constantly asking legal questions in the Legal Paige community. So then I'm able to answer them. I'm also able to see what's on tap, what people's questions are from clients, what issues are popping up. A recent one involved indemnification, and we had like a whole string and slew of conversations happening in our Facebook group surrounding indemnification clauses. And then that gets me rethinking, okay, how can we better serve people through our contract templates with indemnification clause and educate them a little bit better on what happens when your clients need to go negotiate indemnification clauses. So that's just an example for you. I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole there, but as you can tell, I really, really care about free education. And that is the heart and soul of, honestly, the meat of why I created the Legal Paige platform to begin with, not just to sell contract templates. Obviously, that's a means to an end here. Like, I have to be able to pay our team to be able to create all this amazing free content for you all. But I do think that it's not just a template contract. Like, you get so much more value out of it. Once you download a template contract from us, there's so many avenues to get additional information regarding X situation or X question you may have in the legal realm. I also wanted to touch on the user-friendly nature of our template contracts. So if you just go to thelegalpaige.com, we painstakingly spend, honestly, way too much time with navigating our website and making sure that it's extremely user-friendly. I have a digital marketing manager and website manager, shout out to her right now, who literally does this all day, every day. She's a full-time employee, and she makes sure that you can find the contract you need for your industry, that it's a well thought out process with our product descriptions. I am constantly updating our product descriptions. If you just go to even like a product page, we make sure that there's a description, and then what's included lists every single clause that's included in that contract. Like, I don't hold anything back. I'm telling you guys, like, this is what's in the contract. So if your contract doesn't have it, like this is why this one's so beneficial to you. And you can kind of use that as like a cheat sheet or checklist to be like, oh, okay, I am missing things in my existing contract, and this new refresh template contract from TLP actually would be pretty beneficial to me. So that is why we create that. We have a lot of like additional resources and help. And of course, you can always contact our shop as well if you need help navigating which contract. If you're deciding between 2 template contracts, we are here to help you. We want to make sure that you have the right one. Myself and my team know our contract templates very, very, very well. Obviously, much better than potential purchaser would. And so do not hesitate to reach out to us if you're like, hey, I've looked through the website. I think this is the one that I need, but this is what I do in my business. And is that contract going to work for me? And then sometimes it's, yeah, that contract will work for you, but you may need to modify and take, a specific look at this clause, and this clause, and just tweak it to what you've just told me with your business practices in this email that you just sent to us. So all of that is a part of kind of the user experience with the Legal Paige. And I just really want you to know what you're buying. I want you to know if it's what you need in your business. And if there's a different contract that would work better, I'm going to link you to that, because it all comes down to you being the best legally protected that you can be as a business owner, and then us from the Legal Paige delivering it to you in the easiest way possible. Our contract templates also are user-friendly. I have had multiple people look them over. And honestly, this is probably, look them over, yes, with our collaborators that I just talked about, but also just purchasers have looked them over and then they give us feedback like, hey, this part was really confusing. So we have it in Microsoft Word format. That's what our contract templates are. You can obviously open those in just a Google Doc. Those actually work together. There should be no issue there. We have a little disclaimer thing at the top that's in red. So if you download a contract template, it's going to explain like the most recent date that it was updated. It's going to have a little disclaimer for you about how to use bracketed yellow information in the contract, what you can modify, looking out for comments on the side. It's going to have a disclaimer regarding attorney-client privilege that doesn't attach because it's a template contract. It may have additional notes regarding kind of express delineations of pronouns that you'll use throughout the remainder of the contract, and any other additional notes that I may have at the top. And then there's a line, and then the document starts where the template contract begins. And then throughout the contract, we highlight information in yellow that you need to change or modify. And then I have tons of comments on the side that I write. Yes, I write all of them, I promise you. I always have the last eyes on our contract templates. If our legal team has worked on them, don't worry, I'm the last person to look at it because all those comments are coming from me. And I walk you, like handhold you through how to use the template contract. We have had questions from some people that may not be as technologically savvy as others on how to get rid of those comments on the side. You honestly just right click and click delete. And you can also just copy the text. So people will, Command C, and then when they Command V to their actual CRM system, they'll just copy it as text, and then all of those comments should go away on the side as well. We put our template contracts in .doc and .x for Microsoft Word users, and whatever version of Microsoft that you have, hopefully the most recent one is the one you'll use. And then we also put it in PDF format as well, so that when you do copy and paste the wording of the contract template into your, online software where you're sending the contract to your clients on, you can open up the PDF and still see all the comments on the side when the comments kind of disappear when you're copying and pasting it onto your CRM system. So that way you can go through it and make sure that you're highlighting all the bracketed information and things that you may need to change, fillable, little blanks that these contract template platforms allow you to integrate on their website. So like I said, I think it's as simple can be. And we've had tons of testimonials from past purchasers stating like TLP contracts they're very user-friendly to use. And I've never been confused with using them. And also we make sure that we put comments on the side of our template contracts just to inform you like, hey, this is what this clause means, and this is why you would utilize it in your business. If not, delete. Or if you need to add something, add XYZ. So I also just have commentary on the side regarding additional education for that particular contract clause. All in all, I feel like our shop and our template contracts is not something that I have seen a lot online. I think not only is the website easy to read and navigable, but I also truly pride ourselves on making our TLP contracts really easy to read from a layperson's perspective. There's not a lot of legal mumbo jumbo in there. Every clause, every paragraph that you read would be understandable to a third-party layperson client reading it. And I hope that obviously our template contracts as well are very knowledgeable to the actual business owner who is using them for their business. And what I really want to boil down here is how much
of what I have listed and talked about here on today's episode, all of this makes a difference in the contract templates that you buy and the contracts that you end up actually using for your business. I want you to make sure you are getting a contract template at the biggest bang for your buck, because contracts are an investment and honestly, it's a legal document. So you want it to serve you extremely well. You want it to legally protect you extremely well. And I can say with full affirmation here that the Legal Paige contract templates do just that. So what I want you to gather from this episode is, well, for one, how different the Legal Paige is from other legal platforms online and contract template shops. I am so proud of the business we have built. I am also proud of the customer service level that we deliver as a business as well. I have full-time dedicated employees to customer service only. I think that the knowledge and expertise and real-life business experience that myself and my legal team have sets us apart. And if that is something that really stands out to you, I also just want to state that we are a women-owned business as well, and I have all women on my team, and that's something I pride myself on as well. So when you're, of course, purchasing a contract template from us, you are supporting women in their dreams of entrepreneurship. Now, when you buy a template contract, the last thing I want to say is just do your research. Make sure that all of these boxes that we've talked about today of knowledge, experience, customer service, updates, collaborations, other industry leaders looking over things are being ticked. All those boxes need to be checked. And if they aren't, then it's probably the not correct contract shop to buy a template from. So I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the Legal Paige and how much myself and my team pour into this business, and why I can honestly confidently say that the Legal Paige is the leading way in the template contract world. And I am hopefully here to get you legally legit through your contract templates. You can always find them at thelegalpaige.com. And if you guys have any additional questions regarding our template contracts, you can, of course, always contact me. You can DM me on Instagram. You can ask the questions in the Legal Paige community on Facebook. Or, like I said, you can just email our shop inbox, and we have a dedicated customer service representative to help you with your questions. So thanks again for tuning in today to this week's podcast episode, and I'll be back next time.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Legal Paige podcast. See, I told you being legally legit isn't so scary. Be sure to visit thelegalpaige.com for all show notes. And it would be super awesome if you could head over to iTunes and leave a review. Last but not least, don't forget to join my free Facebook group for unlimited legal and biz Q&A. Chat soon, Legal Pagers.